Thank you all for taking some time out and attending today's webinar. I'll take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Abhishek Sinha. I'm a civil engineer by profession and working as Technical Business Development Manager with Bentley Systems India. I have been working on infrastructure projects for 7+ years now and focusing on lifecycle solutions for transportation industry. You may read more about me in the speaker bio section. Before we begin today's webinar, we want to cover a few important announcements. Let us start with Year in Infrastructure Awards. The Year in Infrastructure Awards is an exciting and prestigious global competition that recognizes advancements in infrastructure. Over the past 16 years, the awards have recognized the extraordinary work of nearly 4,000 projects spanning infrastructure design, construction, and operations. This year, the awards will be held in Vancouver from October 12 to 15, and 3 finalists from each of the 19 categories, that is a total of 57 finalists, will win a trip to Vancouver to present their projects before an international audience of leaders from the infrastructure industry. The nomination deadline has now been extended to 22nd May, so please make the most of this extension and visit yii.bentley.com/awards to start your submission today. At Bentley, we recognize that COVID-19 is imposing challenges on how you and your organization get work done during periods of mass remote working and social distancing. Bentley has come up with a one-stop web page to provide useful information and resources to meet your current challenges successfully. For the benefit of attendees, we will cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple application widgets you can use. All the widgets are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A widget. We will try to answer this during the webcast, but if a full answer is needed or we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. Please know we do capture all questions. Additional help materials are available in the resource list. We encourage you to download any resources or bookmark any links that you may find useful. For the best viewing experience, we recommend using a wired internet connection and closing any programs or browser sessions running in background that could cause issues. Webinars are bandwidth intensive, so closing any unnecessary browser tab will help you conserve your bandwidth. The webcast is being streamed through your computer, so there is no dial-in number. For the best audio quality, please make sure your computer speakers or headset are turned on and the volume is up so you can hear the presenters. Some networks cause slides to advance more slowly than others, so logging off your VPN is recommended. If your slides are behind, pushing F5 on your keyboard will refresh the page. You can find additional answers to some common technical issues located in the Help widget at the bottom of your screen. All the participants are eligible to get a certificate for this webinar. To download the certificate, click on the certificate widget. Participants will also receive a follow-up email with a link to download the certificate. If you are watching the webinar with a group of colleagues, then open the group viewing form to add another participant name. Let's get started with our today's topic, which explores the infrastructure industry challenges, BIM process, and how it can help in addressing those challenges. We will also see how Bentley's integrated highway solution helps you improve your efficiency and save time and money while executing the project. How frequently do we hear such news where some big infra project is either delayed or has overshot the budget? Time and cost overruns are the major challenges faced by infrastructure industry today. McKinsey reports that large capital projects take 20% longer to finish and are up to 80% over budget. Construction industry has been slow to adopt process and technology innovations and is ranked 21st among the 22 industries surveyed. The industry has not yet embraced new digital technologies that need upfront investment, even if the long-term benefits are significant. Labor productivity in construction industry is poor throughout the world and has lagged behind that of other sectors. This graph shows productivity growth trends in world by taking 41 of the world's largest construction economies as sample. The growth in construction labor productivity has been a paltry 1% since 1995. Construction spending accounts for 13% of world's GDP. It is believed that the lagging construction productivity costs the global economy $1.6 trillion a year, which is half of the world's infrastructure need. This means we could create double the infrastructure with the amount being spent. How do we transform productivity and project delivery? Can technology help? In a report published by McKinsey, 5 big ideas are being talked about. Let's look at the ideas which are being touted to increase productivity. The first one talks about the higher definition of surveying, which essentially includes photography, laser scans via UAVs to improve accuracy and speed. The second one is about next generation 5D BIM modeling, which considers project schedule and cost in addition to 3D design models. A 5D BIM platform can help owners and contractors to identify, analyze, and record the impact of changes on project costs and scheduling. The next idea is about moving away from the paper towards online, real-time information sharing. Lack of digitization is one of the key reasons for industry's poor productivity record. Digital collaboration and field mobility solutions are the way forward. Fourth idea is about using IoT sensors to capture data from site or facility and analyze them to understand critical performance parameters of assets. Fifth idea is about innovation in materials, pre-assembled structures, and 3D printing. Let us start with a very basic concept of information management. During a project, when information is created and moved to next stage, there is some data loss happening. For example, planning an alignment on paper or a map. During design, we are not able to utilize what we did during planning stage. Similarly, what we design is not directly used by the procurement team to procure material, and the data needs to be exported and worked upon to get it in a certain format for the procurement team to place order from the platform. BIM framework allows us to manage the information better so that we save time and effort, increase quality, reduce our risk, and have a smooth transition to operation and maintenance stage. It's time for you all to share your views. There are 2 poll questions coming up for you. You will get 10 seconds to answer each poll question on your screen. The poll question will be visible on the left-hand side in the slide area of your window. If your media player is enlarged, just minimize it for a bit and you will be able to see the poll question in the slide section. Please do answer all the poll questions because it is important that we get your feedback. To answer the question, which stage of project should one adopt BIM? We have an interesting graphic in front of us. Line 1 shows that if BIM is adopted right from the start of the project, it has maximum impact on cost and performance of the project. Line 2 shows how design changes impact the cost of project during different project stages. The impact is very high during construction and operation stage. Line 4 suggests that adopting BIM workflows helps in identifying design issues very early when the change impact is low, hence adding more values, whereas the CAD-centric workflow is inefficient in risk identification and may result in higher effort and cost. To give you another picture of how it impacts the project cost, let's have a look at how much we can save. Once BIM is adopted right from the planning stage, it can result in a 20% saving in overall capital cost and up to 80% of operational cost. This means 2 projects in the cost of 1. This image shows progression of technology over the years. Our industry started digitization of drawings with the invent of CAD, then moved to BIM to gain value out of 3D models and asset information that can be stored within the models. Now we are here talking about digital twin as a successor to BIM. Let us understand what this progression is all about. When we talk about BIM, most of us understand that it is a 3D model with all the required model information which gets delivered to the client to be used during operation and maintenance stage. Well, it's true in a sense that we aim to create a virtual model before we create an actual model on site. But BIM also defines the standards and process that needs to be followed in order to create and mature the information during the project lifecycle. Digital twin, on the other hand, is a digital replica of the real world model, which means it goes beyond what BIM delivers, and digital model is constantly updated so that it reflects anything and everything that happens in real world. It's a dynamic model, a living model if I may say, which adds the dimension of time to the whole story. Typically, digital twins can be synchronized from multiple sources, including sensors and continuous survey to represent its near real-time status. Now that we have got the broader picture, let us understand how the BIM process helps in streamlining projects. During a traditional project delivery, information is created, shared, and managed in silos, and there is no single source of truth. This approach results in wastage of time and efforts to find the most relevant and up-to-date information at right time. A digital project delivery system would solve that problem by using Common Data Environment, or CDE, as a central repository, which has all the information and is a single source of truth. Multiple stakeholders can create, modify, and use information from the Common Data Environment and collaborate, which improves overall efficiency. Let's look at the CDE process. During any project, information is created by multiple individuals, teams, organizations using a variety of tools. CDE captures all that information in a systematic manner and then federates them to create an overall picture of the project. This federated model can then be validated to check for correctness and accuracy of the information created before it is published. All this while CDE allows the stakeholders to collaborate and refer other information in the funnel. Once there is a federated, validated model, it is then published for further process in project information management stage. During this stage, the information gets pushed through a defined process, schedule information and cost information coming from other systems added to the approved model and then analyzed. The last stage is all about managing asset information, which will help during operation and maintenance of the infrastructure. UK BIM standards served as a guide for implementing the process we just saw. It talked about information collaboration, electronic data management, CapEx lifecycle management, OpEx lifecycle management, security of the data, health and safety, and better facility management. These standards are now getting superseded by BSE and ISO 19650. There is a plan for 5 parts, out of which 2 parts are already released, covering concepts and principles of BIM and CapEx lifecycle management. The other 3 parts will be published in due course and eventually replace BS standards. Now that we have talked about standards that shall be used for BIM, let us have a look at the process in detail to understand how it works. Design integration, as you remember, is the first step of CDE process, and it happens in 3 stages. During work in progress stage, a file is created, being worked upon, its content checked by the people within the discipline, and then it gets approved for sharing with others for further collaboration. During the next stage, other teams collaborate and review the project in totality to check for any possible clashes or risk, and once that is done, it is approved to be published and becomes the final deliverable to be shared with clients or external reviewers. All this while the data is access controlled, which means only read-only copies are shared with others for visualization and review purpose, and the owner of the file retains the complete right over the information created. Each discipline follows the same process, and CDE enables multidiscipline teams to then collaborate in a seamless manner. CDE ensures that organization is able to follow a set standard. Engineering coordinator within each of the consultant organization collaborates various discipline outputs which are geo-coordinated and federates to eliminate any surprises during the construction stage. This is where the model is reviewed and checked for clashes before publishing it for client review. The entire design integration, collaboration, submission for review and approval process happens within CDE. This here is an example of this process and can be configured as per organization's requirement. The file gets created in the CDE and the designer then works on it. Once the design is done, document moves from CAD checks and design review, and if it gets rejected at any step, it goes back to the owner of the document, which is the designer. Once approved, the model goes through the rendition where it gets converted in a read-only copy, either PDF or iModel or any other common exchange format for review and comments. Document controller of the production team will then package the documents and send a transmittal to the external review team. Document controller of the external reviewer team will then acknowledge the receipt of transmittal and share the documents with the lead reviewer, who in turn can share it with the relevant reviewers of his or her organization, and then collate all the feedback together. This commented document is then shared back with the production team to make necessary changes. This process will repeat till the documents are approved and then shared with the authority or authorities engineer to get final approval. Since the information is created and managed in a digital environment, project managers can get easy to use dashboards to keep a track of project health. This example is here from a metro project where CDE is implemented, and such dashboards and reports are helping in understanding the stage of project at any given time. It's time for you all to share your views. Remember, you will get 10 seconds to answer the poll question on your screen. So just to tell you again, the poll question will in the slide window. If you have enlarged, just minimize it for a bit, and you will be able. Few more seconds so that you all are able to identify and actually click on it. In the future session, you might receive a pulse check. So if everything is going great, just give me a thumbs up and I'll know. As part of our Digital Highway Solution series, we will be conducting a session focused on the workflows, process, and standards for BIM for infrastructure industry. This session will be conducted on 21st May. So anyone who wants to understand BIM in more detail, I encourage that they should register for this session. Remember, one of the ideas that we discussed earlier was 5D BIM. We have already seen what are the BIM standards and how the process looks like. Let us have a look at how do we achieve 5D. We start with 3D models of individual systems. We create 2D deliverables and federate and validate the 3D models within the common data environment. We can then add construction schedule from softwares like Synchro, Primavera, and cost from organization's ERP system to arrive at a final 5D model. Time and cost being the fourth and fifth dimension. Let us now have a look at the design integration and collaboration process in context of a highway project. We will explore a comprehensive set of design solutions and an integrated workflow for highway projects ranging from surveying to visualization. All this design and review work happens within the common data environment. We have created an integrated highway project to take you through the entire design lifecycle of the project. We have started by surveying a project site, then creating conceptual project models during planning stage, taking it through detailed design stage where we design highway and bridges. We also capture geotechnical survey information and then use it to analyze embankments and pile foundations. Once the design is complete, we review the models and visualize the project. We have also set up a common data environment which will be used by respective engineers to work and will give you a real feel of how the project is executed using CDE. During surveying stage, we can capture photographs of project sites or do a LiDAR scan using drones. We can also use car-mounted or handheld devices. This data can then be processed in Bentley's context capture software to generate a 3D reality mesh model. Since the devices are able to cover more area in less time, we can improve the accuracy and speed of entire process by using this modern surveying technique. The 3D reality models can be used in downstream engineering applications as a topo surface and to provide the designer with the contextual view of the project site, thereby improving design decisions and reducing errors. We understand that such survey data can be huge and it is not feasible for everyone to download or copy the file on their computer systems. Bentley provides a cloud sharing option where the context data is stored on cloud and can be easily accessed via web browser for viewing or can be referenced in design applications without the need to download. Since the engineers will be designing in real site context, it is easier to analyze the design impacts on existing infrastructure and check for any possible clash with existing elements on site. This also reduces the need for frequent site visits to take critical design decisions and can help in saving time and money for the organization. During the preliminary design stage, we need to create multiple conceptual design alternatives and quickly compare costs. Conceptation allows you to conceptualize your highway project in 3D. The program allows you to download survey data for your site location or use your own survey data, including the context capture reality model you just saw. Being a conceptual design software, it has easy to use tools which creates parametric highway models. It also helps in quickly designing challenging sections of a project. For example, a road junction or a ramp connection. It also allows one to place bridges on the fly by just selecting the start and end changes of the alignment. Once the bridge is placed, one can very easily modify the individual components of the bridge to suit the design needs. Now, since the model is in 3D, the software is also able to provide a quick cost estimation for the entire project, and the designer can really check the feasibility of multiple alternatives. A conceptual model may also be required for client presentations, meetings, or getting approvals from authorities. Conceptation allows to use the visualization tool Luminarty to create rendered images and animate videos. Transitioning the conceptual design to detailed design stage is a huge challenge for DPR consultants or owners designers. Conceptation allows the design to be exported to detailed design software so that the highway engineer can start finalizing the design alignment without skipping a heartbeat. Next, we move to the detailed design stage of the project where we design highways, utilities, bridges, and do geotechnical analysis. It all starts with the alignment finalized during the preliminary design, and the same alignment can be further detailed in OpenRoad Designer. As an engineer, you will have to follow design codes based on the country your project is located in. OpenRoad Designer has IRC, AASHTO, and other international codes which are frequently used while designing highways. OpenRoads is also capable of creating the road corridor in 3D using user-defined parametric templates. You may choose to add road markings, crash barriers, or other 3D and 2D elements as required to deliver the project. One of the key features of OpenRoads is allowing the designer to reuse common design layouts like junctions, truck laybys, rotaries, etc. This saves effort and time required to keep repeating that design throughout the project. OpenRoads also allows the designer to quickly generate design reports and quantities for all the components modeled in the project. 2D deliverables are still required for construction activities, And OpenRoads utilizes the 3D model to extract all 2D drawings from it. The benefit of this approach is that the drawings are a live reference of 3D model, and any change in the model will automatically reflect in 2D drawings, thereby reducing the drafting time required for making changes. It is very common for highway projects to have drainage along the alignment or to have other underground utilities like water line, electrical ducts along the roadside, especially when it is an urban section. OpenRoads takes care of such requirements by including the tools to model and analyze underground utilities. One of the major challenges of highway industry is using the highway design directly into bridge software. Bentley's open solutions integrate it all together. The bridge engineer can reference the road alignment in OpenBridge Designer and start modeling parametric 3D bridge models. The topo survey can be used to automatically create pier heights, and the super elevation data coming from OpenRoad Designer can be used to slope the bridge depth. You can model the bridge in as much detail as you are required to. Another challenge comes when 3D models of bridge needs to be pushed to analysis modules. OpenBridge Designer comes equipped with analysis module, which helps you analyze all types of bridge, including the complex ones, like cable stayed and suspension bridges. Since the data has a seamless flow from one discipline to another or from one project stage to another, it is very easy to manage changes. For example, if highway engineer changes the height of the alignment, it will immediately change the height of the bridge and can then be quickly reanalyzed to check whether the bridge is still safe or not. OpenBridge also allows you to publish 2D drawings directly from the 3D model, which means any change in the 3D model will reflect back to the published drawings, thereby saving a lot of drafting time. It's time for a poll question. You will get 10 seconds to answer the poll question on your screen. Poll question on your slide area. Please do answer the question. Geotechnical design is one of the most critical aspects of any infrastructure project. Bentley has come up with geotechnical data reporting solution, which allows digitization right from the site level. The site engineer can record all the information in custom-made forms through mobile or a tablet, which then gets uploaded to the master database at the office. This saves a lot of time to transfer the data from site to office and removes duplication of work. Once the data is uploaded to database, GINT can then create geotechnical reports like borehole maps, fence diagrams, etc. This data is also interoperable with design applications like OpenRoads, so that the highway engineer can create surface from lithology data and use it to optimize the alignment and save costs right at the design stage. Also, with all the soil information captured from site and lab tests, we can then use an analysis software like Plaxis to create finite element models for highway embankments, to check slope stability, and structural elements like pile foundations to check for settlements. Moving on to the next step in the project. Once each discipline engineer creates their own design file, it goes through a review process. The reviews can be done using Bentley Navigator application or through iTwin Design Review, which is a web-based service. Either way, it can be done on any device at any time. The iTwin Design Review service allows multiple team members from different disciplines to collaborate their design and perform coordination reviews online. It has the ability to handle third-party design models from most of the commonly used softwares in highway industry. In post-COVID world, this type of online coordination reviews might become a new normal. Apart from visualizing the entire project, the system also allows one to perform clash checks between different disciplines or components and create issues on the fly assign it to respective designer, and maintain the issue register online for better tracking of open issues. Visualization has become very important in today's world, where people are getting accustomed to more and more digital content, and mere PPT may not cut it. Creating visualization models helps in presenting your work better, get approvals faster, and convey your ideas even to the stakeholders who are not domain experts. Bentley's Luminarty solution helps you to animate infrastructure models with ease. For a highway project, you may want to simulate traffic which can be easily managed. Luminarty helps in sharing immersive 3D presentations with any stakeholder and can connect to augmented reality or virtual reality for enhancing the visualization experience. It also allows you to capture stunning images and share high-definition walkthrough and fly-through videos to make your work really stand out. Now, common data environment is the key to streamline the entire process and standards that we were talking about. Bentley's ProjectWise acts as a secured container with defined work process for information. It is a single source of truth and provides safe collaboration among all the stakeholders with defined access control. It allows for federation of data in a coordinated fashion with defined geo-coordinates for the project. ProjectWise establishes a common process for all stakeholders across the entire lifecycle of the project. It also manages changes to the information and creates audit trail for evidence. By managing all such menial tasks, ProjectWise allows project teams to spend more time on innovative designs and thereby increases productivity. Let us summarize the entire design workflow we just saw. ProjectWise CD is set up right at the start of the project and becomes a single repository for all the documents created for a project. It also manages the associated workflows. Context capture allows the surveyor to create a reality model of the project site, which is then used by the designers to create conceptual models and finalize the project alignment using Concept Station. This alignment is further refined in OpenRoad Designer. 3D models and 2D drawings are generated as highway deliverables. This design information is then referenced by the bridge engineer to create 3D models and analyze and design bridges using OpenBridge Designer. It also helps in creating bridge deliverables. GINT helps the geotechnical team to capture soil data from the site and labs and report it in a database which can then be used to create analytical soil models in combination with data coming from highway and bridge teams. The final models of all the disciplines are then published to iModel Hub, where the iTwin services can be used to review and validate the models. The final validated models are then taken to Luminarty to create visualization, simulations, and publish images and videos. It's time for a poll question. You will get 10 seconds to answer the poll question on your screen. There are a couple of poll questions over here. Again, just to let you know, you have to go to the slide area in order to answer the poll question. I'll leave this question for a bit longer because this is a freehand text typing. So just type in your answer over here. So this was the first session of Digital Highway Solution series. We will delve into details of different project stages and disciplines in our upcoming webinars. Hopefully you have registered for all of them. If not, I encourage you to register today. We will now open the floor for Q&A. Please type in your questions in the Q&A window and we will try and answer them as much as possible. If we are not able to answer your questions due to lack of time, we will definitely get in touch with you through email. We will also share some feedback questions with you. Please fill all of them so that we can understand if this session was useful and whether we should continue with such webinars in future. Please answer all the questions over here. This will help us understand whether this session was useful to you or whether we should continue such sessions for you in future. Okay, please request all of you to provide answers. Actively participate in the polls over here. Please provide your feedback. This is again a typing box which you have got in front of you. So I'll give you more time so that you can provide us an honest feedback of today's session. Meanwhile, please keep asking us questions. We are looking at the Q&A window in front of us. I'll be picking up few questions out of there and we'll be answering that live. So please keep your questions coming over here.
So Abhishek, I will do that honors for you, that I'll pick certain questions which I've already chosen it, and rest of them, please don't worry. We will answer all the questions. And if we were not able to answer it, we will mail you all those answers as well. So don't worry about that part.
Thanks,
so I think
Roshan.
I can start with...
Just a moment, Roshan. Before we start, I believe that there was some confusion during our first poll question. Most of our attendees were not able to answer. Probably they didn't understand it initially. So I'll just push the first poll question again for you all to answer. So it will be part of... And we will showcase the live result over here. Okay, I'll leave it for around 15-20 seconds so you get enough time to answer the question. Okay. Meanwhile, to answer a few of the common questions that we have, one is who should we contact for more information? So in the resources section, you will see a lot of documents and resources that we have provided. So just go to the resources section and we have listed down who should contact. So for India and Asia South, you can contact Mr. Partha Roy or Mr. Tulsi Bala. And if you are attending from Southeast Asia region, you should connect with KC Teo. And if you are connecting from other regions, still you will be able to connect with these people, and we'll definitely come back to you and maybe bring in our local teams in your region. Okay. Another common question is whether this recording will be available for us in future. Yes, since you have already, you can always come back and attend it on demand. It will be available as an on-demand session for you all. Okay, so those were the two very, very common questions that I see in the Q&A chat box. Roshan, now you can pick few questions that we can answer it over here.
Yeah. And before that, there's one more common question was, will they be getting the PDF of this presentation? So I think Abhishek can answer that with that as well.
Okay. So what has happened is there are a lot of small questions, or there are videos which are overlapping. So a PDF may not really cut it for you. So if you want to showcase it internally to your managers or to your colleagues, to your peers, I would request you to give them the link. They can come here, they can attend the session on demand, and they can even ask their questions even if it is on demand. So that question will come to us via email. So we'll be able to answer those directly. So if anyone wants to see it again, it is available on demand. Just come back to the lobby and you can view the session again.
Okay. Thank you, Abhishek. Okay, so here comes the first question, and I think it's a very interesting question, and it's a valid question. That you say that digital twins take over from BIM. It's from Trent Telbo of Becca. With construction so slow to take up digital technology, is this just a too big a step for construction?
Not actually. So in my view, BIM and digital twins are not really different. So what we do in BIM is basically come up with a model which can be passed on to O&M. We use certain processes. We maintain certain processes while we are creating that information. Okay, so we are going to do that when we are creating our digital twin. So it's nothing like it's a completely different process, or we are moving towards something really different. The only difference between what we do in a BIM project or what we will be doing in a digital twin project is the factor of time, right? Once your model is ready, once your design model is ready, there are certain changes that will keep happening on the site during construction, and there will be changes which will keep happening during the operation and maintenance stage. So that information will be collected and passed on to the same 3D model or BIM model, as you would like to say, and that actually becomes a digital twin. Okay.
Okay. And the next question, I think it is relevant for all the audience who was attending today's session. And I think you've already answered it, but still I'm going to ask it. By using BIM, how much days we can complete the project?
There's no answer like that in how many days. See, there are surveys which are done. People have recorded savings in terms of percentage. For example, how much do they save in design stage? How much do they save in construction stage? So if you implement BIM, okay, you have digitized everything in your project. If you have streamlined everything right at the preliminary stage, then the savings will keep happening till the O&M stage. So even the owner is going to benefit from what is being created, right? So the person who is operating, who is owning the asset, is also going to benefit. So the savings are like, as you have seen in my presentation, it's like 20% in the CAPEX side of the project. And then a lot of savings comes during the OPEX side, because you actually know where exactly your asset is, or what are the performance parameters of your asset. So there are a lot of savings that comes during the operation stage as well. Okay. So it's during the design stage, construction stage, during the operation stage. So consultant, contractors, and owners, everybody is able to take benefit of this implementation.
Next question is, this is from Jyoti Bilwara from KNJ Projects Private Limited. And I think this is a common question which people might need an answer of. Are Bentley software compatible with other third-party vendor?
Okay, to answer that question, yes, we are compatible with most of the solutions. So you have seen the entire workflow starting from surveying, to concept station, detailed design, geotechnical analysis. So that was all our integrated solution. But let's say you have a certain third-party solution which may come in. So we will be able to integrate, but the integration might not be obviously as smooth as you saw in our presentation. That's all our solution, but the integration is still there. Okay. There are ways in which you can export the data out of Bentley solution to the third-party solution, or take the data from third-party softwares to Bentley software. So there can be a mixed bag of solution that you can have, or you can choose to go for a one single solution over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So the next question is from the Ashutosh Sharma from Sciences Tech Limited. As per PPT, we can maintain the assets in project-wise. Why do we require asset-wise?
Oh, okay. No. Basically, in project-wise, you are not maintaining asset information as such. What you are doing is you are maintaining project information. That's where comes into picture. So from starting your information creation up to the handover, project handover, that is where project-wise comes into picture. Asset-wise is a different solution. It's specifically meant for maintaining your assets. It has a different schema. It has different asset attributes which can be entered, which can be monitored, which can be maintained. Okay, so that's a different solution. If you want, we can talk later offline maybe.
Okay. So there's another question from Ketan Gupta. How BIM can be used for highway and tunnel design?
Okay. So as you have seen, that BIM is basically not a software. It's a process. There are which needs to be applied. Once you do that, you are basically saying that your project is BIM compliant. Doing a highway and tunnel project. Okay, so there are certain requirements that you will have to ensure. There are certain standards from ISO 19650. So there is a link in the resource section where you can go and read that. Okay, and if you want to understand more, we are also conducting a session separately, which is focused on BIM. I'll request you to attend that session. And everyone over here, if you want to know more about BIM, because today was an overview session, I didn't delve into the depths. But if you really want to know more about just BIM and how it applies to your project, there is a separate session that we have organized as part of this webinar series.
Okay. So next question is from Deepika Bhatt from Tata Consulting Engineers. Is it possible to do traffic analysis by simulating the actual traffic?
Traffic analysis is a different field, I would say. We do have another solution which caters to that I have not presented it today because it was all about engineering, and we have a lot of consultants, contractors, owners over here. We have something called as Cube. You might have already heard of it. Cube is something which caters to traffic planning, maybe for a project on a city level, on whatever you may say. So that's a different solution. And then from such, for example, there is another one, if you know Vism, it's from PTV. So these are the traffic modeling solutions, and this information can be brought into our concept station product or our Luminarity product, so that when you are actually animating the vehicles, it's not a dummy traffic, it's the actual traffic which you have already analyzed in a software.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to, I want to add in over there as well. If you want to know more about that Vism integration with Concept Station, that is a part of our second series where we'll be showing that as well. So I would request to join in that session as well. The next question is from Srinivas Rao Poluri from RV Associates. Can we use the alignment created in Concept Station in open routes?
I think that's a question for you, Roshan.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That absolutely, sir. Yes, you can do that. As Abhishek showed in his presentation, the slide that from planning to design stage, there is a loss of information from design to construction. So catering to that only, where we want a smooth flow of information. So whatever design you have done in Concept Station can be carried forward in open road design. So the time that has been invested in conceptual design, you don't need to invest that much time for the detailed design part. I hope this clears.
Right.
Okay.
Before you move on to another the question. There's one question from Rights that I would answer, which is basically what's the difference between Open Bridge Designer and Bridge Designer? Open Bridge Designer is a soft includes RM Bridge Designer, right? So if you want to know more about that, please attend our Bridge webinar, okay, which is part of the entire series. Yes, Roshan.
And there is one more
You can go
question
to the
from
next
Rights as well. Would you be explaining detail about FIDE in any of your sessions?
Details about FIDE, maybe not part of this right now. I have just given an overview, and then we'll be talking about up to, okay. If you want to know more about 4D and 5D, you should definitely attend the session on BIM, which is the last session of our webinar series. Plus, I'd request you to send us an email, and we would like to understand more from you the requirement, and we can help you over there.
So next question is how data from context capture will move used to ORD. So I will answer that. I'll take that. So for that, I would really request you to please attend the session part 2 of the series. This is what we are going to show you, that how data will move from one solution to the other solution. So part 2 and part 3, you will get your answer, sir. Harsh Padik, sir, from L&T.
Okay. One more common question that I have, basically it's a comment or a feedback, is that people are not allowed to speak over here. And they are supposed to type in the question. So just letting you know, we have a lot of attendees today in our session. That's the reason mics are not allowed in such sessions, because what will happen is we will not be able to control who is speaking when. If there are a lot of attendees, it will be a chaos for you as well. You will also not be able to understand what I am saying, what my answers are. That's the reason we are not doing that. We are keeping it open for you to type in the question, and we are here to answer it verbally. And if we are not able to answer it today, don't mind. Just push your question in, and we will get back to you after the session.
Through emails. Yeah. And also, I think this is a very good question, Abhishek, that from the Intercontinental from Anup KA. What is the BIM implementation cost in terms of total cost of project? So rough estimate, considering it has to be started from scratch.
It really depends.
How much will it cost?
Yes, Roshan, you want to continue?
No, you go.
I'll answer.
I think there's a voice break, so you can go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, please.
So there's no specific cost to it. It's not a percentage of your total project cost. It really depends on how you are implementing it. For example, as I said, BIM is not a software. So if I want to implement BIM on any project, I can choose to not implement any solution, do it all manually. There are organizations who have been operating from a long time, and they have their set of standards documented in a PDF, and they are supposed to follow it. But the problem usually with doing that, although it's free of cost, okay, you have created the PDF once and you have the BIM standards ready with you, and you are going to ask all your employees to do that. But the problem is, if there are no checks, there are no automated controls, there's no system in place, people tend to game the system, right?
Yeah.
Nobody really follows the process that has been laid down by the organization. So when it comes to cost, it can be really free. There's no cost to it. But because organize such systems to keep everyone in line, streamline their entire process, make sure that human interface is less, so that there are less errors, there are less chances of people not actually following it, and let the system automate most of it. And basically it saves time, right? If the system does most of the things for you. So
Absolutely.
that is where the cost comes in. And again, it's not a straightforward answer that it's a certain percentage of your total project cost.
And I would also like to add in over here, Abhishek, as you mentioned that BIM is a process. So knowingly or unknowingly, if there is an ISO based company, you're already doing certain processes unknowingly, which comes under the BIM category. So there are many organizations who are ISO authorized, they are doing BIM, but they don't know about that. So BIM is basically a process. It's not a software. There is a question from Rights as well, Abhishek. Can the ProjectWise be used for storing every kind of data on a project, including reports? So I think we have a detailed session on ProjectWise. So
yes, to just give you an answer over here, yes, it is able to store your engineering data. which is basically your engineering models, engineering CAD drawings, but it is also able to store any other data you want to. It's not restricted to a particular type of data.
Okay. So there is one question from Sciences. Can GIS information from open source be imported in Bentley platform?
GIS information from open source can be integrated in Bentley platform.
Bentley platform.
Okay. Yes, it can be done. Although we do have our own GIS solutions, we do accept files from other third-party solutions, as I have been mentioning. So just to give you one example, I've seen usual GIS formats that people have is from S3, which is a shape file, and we are very easily able to deal with that. Okay, so if you have specific file format which you want to discuss with us, you can separately email us and we'll get back to you.
Okay. So there is a question from Infosys Techno. How is design change managed? Like we have input file. For that, sir, to answer your question, we can manage the changes, but it's not like input file. You will see more detail on the part 3 of the series, which is on the detailed design, where we'll show you that how you can manage your changes similar to that. Let me take a few more questions.
We still have 4 minutes left.
Yeah. And it's a very good question, Abhishek, and it's a very challenging question for you. You have to answer it. Let's see how good you are. Who would you recommend Bentley software over other third-party vendors for BIM?
So I can give you 2 answers, right? I'm a Bentley employee, so I'll obviously suggest you use Bentley software, but it's not really necessary, because we understand that organizations usually have a bunch of different software vendors that they work with, maybe different teams working with different softwares, because you never know what the client is going to ask you, okay? Or basically you will have to be ready for all situations. So we really do not mandate that you have to use end-to-end Bentley solution. We suggest that it will give you benefits, but even if you are using a couple of different products, you can still use Bentley as well. Or even if you are using a competitor product, you can still use Bentley to ensure that your team's capability is maintained on both kind of solutions, and you are able to address any kind of challenges that might come your way. Because it might happen that there are some things that the competitor is not able to solve, for example, and the solution, or it may be much simpler in our solution. So it is always better to have experience and capability on different kind of software, that you are able to tackle such challenges in future.
Okay. So I think we are going to take 2 more questions because we have 2 minutes left, Abhishek. So I would really like you to keep your answers short and crisp. So the next question is again from the Tata Consulting, and this is really very interesting question. And is it possible for the client or reviewer to check the design without having any software?
Yes, it is possible. So in my presentation, you have seen a section which was for design review. We have come up with something called as iTwin services. We call it where we are going towards digital twin. And as part of that service, you can open your 3D models directly on the web browser, and anybody from your organization or from any other third-party organization you give access to can do the review over there, can comment over there, can actually publish an issue, assign the issue to someone, so that it all gets recorded in your project, and you will always know what were the issues, how many issues are open, and whether you have closed all the issues before you move ahead. We can do that.
Okay, and there is one more question as well. Is there any specific BIM standard for India? So I think ISO 19650, they can download that.
Yes, that's a global standard. That's a global standard. There's no specific standard that we have right now for India. We are still following. We were following the BS standards up till now, but that's getting replaced by ISO 19650, which is more global, I would say. Okay. So we have completed our time, and just to let all other attendees know, it's not like your questions were not interesting. Definitely, we are looking at a lot of questions. As I said, there are a lot of attendees today. So we are looking at a lot of questions in front of us, and they all sound very interesting. But due to lack of time, we will not be able to answer all of them live. But we will get back to you. Okay. So even you can email us the questions if you want. If you like, for example, you might have typed only a line over here, but if you really want to get in touch with us, send questions to us, you can do that. Okay, so we have contact details over there in resource list. You can also connect with me. My speaker bio is there, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can email me. Okay, so we'll be able to get back to you with answers. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for such warm response to the session, and do not forget to attend the remaining sessions. Please register.
Yeah.
And whatever I have shown today, it will be shown in much more in upcoming sessions. So you get another chance to answer your question, and you might come prepared with your questions in detail, right?
And I think most of your questions will be answered in those sessions itself when you see those presentations. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you everyone for your time and patience.
Yep. Thank you everyone. The contact details are there, and you can just maybe ping me on LinkedIn or something like that. There are email IDs for our sales colleagues. You can connect with them, and they'll get back to us. Okay, so there are a multitude of ways you can connect with us. Don't restrict yourself and just feel that this was the only session where you can get your answers. This was just a session to let you know what we have and how you can actually benefit from technology when it comes to a highway project. But there are a lot of ways we can connect. Thank you, everyone. That's all from us.